Hey, Jill, how you doing?
Hey, good morning or good evening for you, sir. How are
Oh,
you?
thank you. Good, good. And good morning to you.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, just having fun in the pre-market a little bit while I can. So,
I just caught the last part of what you're saying there, Avi, and all I have to say is ditto. I'm absolutely getting away from. Yeah, I've gotten away from trading the open. I don't do that anymore. I usually wait at least 15 minutes to a half hour. But getting back into futures, I've been saying it for a while, but it's time. I'm getting back into it and being able. I mean, I was seeing Amal posting things from, uh, amazing setups at 11:30 Eastern last night and hit target in 10 minutes.
yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah,
like you've said a million times, there's so many opportunities, and you just have to refine and find what works for you, and go from there.
yeah, absolutely, man. Gotta find what works for you. So don't be afraid of independent thinking. You can always find stuff. Cool, man. Cool. Thanks, Jill. Well, it's your show, Jill, from here on. Go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you. I'll share my screen and and share. There you go. I just want to have the chat on. There we go. Okay. So instead of copying, I'm just trying to streamline some things here that I do. 80/20 stuff again. I would write down or I'd copy down what it was that I was looking at as things to know before the open. This is stuff that I've been doing for years. Does it actually make a difference in the trades that I take? I don't really know. It's just something that I've looked at. I want to know what the broader market is doing. And honestly, like I've been doing this probably for a good 10, 15 years, looking at Investopedia. I get an email in the morning of 5 things to know before the market opens. I used to watch the Benzinga pre-market show. I don't do that anymore. 80/20 thing. It was just a lot of talk. I just want to see the headlines. What's going on? What are the big things going on? And instead of recopying them, I just figured, you know what? I'll show you what it is I look at. So this is the link from Investopedia, 5 things to look at. So it's saying the stock futures are holding steady after a big run yesterday. Don't need to read everything. I can tell just by reading the headline. Oil climbs as the Strait of Hormuz remains blocked. Yes, there's absolutely stuff going on. CL is all over the place right now. And it's very, very volatile on news. If you can get into a position right after the news, I mean, there's incredible movement happening in oil futures. Israel says Iranian security official was killed. I don't know how pertinent that is to the markets. Fed 2-day meeting on rates. So the Fed is looking at interest rate decision for I believe tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then NVIDIA CEO unveils huge AI chip revenue target. I don't know if you guys were watching the markets when he was talking yesterday. I was looking at the markets. I had no idea what was going on, but here's the NVIDIA chart. I was actually doing some work at the computer, and then all my alerts started going off, and this was a massive candle. And that's where I just stand back. I mean, I would love to get involved into something like this, but news events are so incredibly volatile. I'll take out this fib here, but massive. That's a 2-minute candle, but let's go to the 30-minute. There you go. So it's a massive wick candle, and then pull back to actually lower than where the channel we had been trading. So this will be interesting today. I think in video will be very interesting. What the CEO was sharing was basically saying that he'll be at a trillion in orders by the end of 27, and that's incredible. Yeah, it's unbelievable, and NVIDIA is a monster. But is that already priced in? And that's the whole thing that nobody knows. right? As far as an investment is concerned, this is something personally I hold and I plan on holding in my daughter's portfolio for years to come. Because they are a massive player and they seem to be getting involved in new opportunities. So anyway, as far as the things to know before the open, that's what I look at. Then I look at the economic calendar. Again, instead of copying stuff from there, this is what I look at. Right? I look at the economic calendar for today. I make sure that we are on today's date. I filter out to have the UK, the US, and Canada. There was nothing of significance. And when I say significance, I'm looking at 3 stars. There was nothing, as far as I could tell, at 8:30. And then at 10 a.m., there doesn't seem to be anything too important coming up. So that's basically all I want to see from that. And then earnings whispers. I want to see, are there any earnings before the market? So this is before the open for Tuesday, March 17th. And then where is calendar? I don't remember, where did they move it to see aftermarket close. This is not always the tool that I use. I use another one that I didn't really want to share this morning. So I figured I'd go back to earnings whispers. But you can see where, it might be over here. But you can see where the earnings are for aftermarket. And I'm not really concerned because earnings season is pretty much over. So I'm not looking at anything there. Then I move on. Oops, I haven't even opened my platform yet. Like I said, it's March break here. I should share that I have traded less in the last month and a half than I have traded in the last 5 years. This market, for me, is sideways. It doesn't. I was looking at my journal, and I don't remember when I took one of my setups, double top or double bottom. They're just not showing up. Because they do show up usually in a trending market. And this market is not trending. It's range bound. It's sideways. And that's okay. There's opportunities there. But I just wanted to share that this has been, especially since I've been online with Avi, it's the less trades I've taken in a very long time. And, that's okay. I don't want to force anything. So I'm going to look at my levels on the 30-minute on Apple and these tickers. I think I'm sharing the right screen now. Yeah. And I'll be back. I just forgot something. I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm back. Sorry about that. Again, while I'm doing this, any questions, comments, please don't hesitate. Apple, 30-minute time frame. I'm looking at the tops over here, looking at room to the left. There's an obvious level right here on my DOS charts. I've got the high day printed, so the high of yesterday. I will put it in here, Alt H, just to put a horizontal line. It is at R3. It could be an area of rejection, so an area of resistance, or it could be a continuation up. So this is where I want to see what happens. I do nothing until we get there. There was a lot of buying in this area yesterday. So if we were to come back down here, I'd be curious to see how it reacts. Either way. So that's what I'm looking at here. The alert that I've got set, the dotted line here, is no longer necessary. I'll bring it to the low of pre-market here. So we'll see if it comes and takes liquidity out here, as in takes in orders, and there's a lot of buying up here. This might be the pullback that I want to aim back up to R3, right? Because S3 to R3 is an often setup that works well. AMD, 30-minute time frame. Let's zoom in. AMD, similar to Apple. I want to see, and this was the trade that I called out, or that I was describing yesterday. I can come back to it after the market opens. It was a break and retest. It ended up working very well. It took a little bit longer, but the setup worked again very well. Came back to the high of the previous day. Look at these levels, came back to the high of the previous day, and then rejected from there. So this level here is, put an Alt H there. Oh, I already had a line. Just let me get rid of some of these. Actually, I'll leave that one there. There's a reason that one's there. So what does it do if it makes it up here? Anywhere before this, I'm not really interested. If it were to come down below the low here, I'd like to start paying attention. So the alert that I had down here, I'll just move it to around here. Not necessarily as a trigger, just as in, hey, pay attention to me over here. Amazon, 30-minute, that's a massive wick up to R6, sorry, R4. In the pre-market, I don't know, the wicks like this are often caused by news events. I'm not really sure what the heck this is, depending on the amount of volume that was traded here. So this pretty much takes Amazon above here. It takes it off my my book, because there's no room to the left. Once the market opens, the market has already been there and it rejected over here. If it comes all the way up here again, then it could be considered a double top, right? So that's where I'm going to look at a possible reversal. But the continuation from here, I don't like that it's made it all the way up here already, right? If you go for a break and retest, well, it broke out, made it all the way up here, seems to be retesting now at this level. I don't know. We'll look at it once the market opens. I mean, it could be retesting and then hitting R3, which is the high before the breakout here. If it retests here, shows a little bit of a wick underneath R3, and then shows a lot of strength on the 5-minute, it might be a possibility to go for the back to the highs of R4 over here. Google, running a tiny bit late here because I was talking about the fact that I'm getting back into futures and stuff like that. So if you're trading the open, be aware that it's in 2 minutes. I no longer trade the open, so that's why I do my analysis 9:15 to 9:30, 9:40. There's no massive hurry. As far as room to the left for Google, above the highs here was an area of resistance. So I'm going to put a line there. Right? I want to see how does it react. Right? It went up there yesterday and then pulled back quite a bit. Went in there again at the end of the day and has been pulling that back. It's hitting it again. What's it going to do at this level? It's not a long or a short yet. I just want to see how will it react after the open over here. Meta on the 30-minute. Let's make these a little bit bigger. Meta, I don't see much as far as it would have to come up above here. That was a level of resistance yesterday at the open. I could set an alert at this level here. And then below, if it does come down and retest this 622 level, which was the forming of that gap, you got to be careful because the market often likes to close these gaps. But if it comes and retests the 622 level and shows strength, it could be a retest for the move up. Or if it breaks down below it, I'm going to look at the breakdown below and the retest for the move to close this gap. So that's what I'm looking at on Meta. Hopefully that makes sense. Hey, Evo. Let me just, I just saw that.
Good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Oliver. With 10 seconds left, just please be careful. Good luck, anyone who's trading the open. Interesting level on Microsoft. Microsoft chopped around here yesterday, rejected these highs in pre-market, rejected the highs again. So I'd be curious to see what it does at this level here at the highs of 400. It could break out and continue, or it could reject at this level. And if it rejects it, I'd be looking at it coming down back to S3 area, which doesn't leave a lot of RVR here. AMD, I had a feeling this would happen right at the open, right? So this is what I'm going to be looking at in the next little while. NVIDIA, very difficult to trade with that news yesterday. We could be finding support below this area here. We came down and wicked down, so I'm going to send an alert. I'd be curious at buying if we could come and retest this area of yesterday. So 182, there you go. Set an alert there. As far as higher over here, the market was just there. It rejected, so I'm not curious on doing anything above 185 on NVIDIA. Tesla, that seems like a shorter time frame. Here we go. Not quite sure what this was. I'll go look at it. I know it's not a trade I took because I didn't take any trades yesterday. We gapped up in pre-market yesterday and then rejected, came back down, retesting the bottom of the wick from 4 a.m. on Monday morning, retesting that low. I mean, we could put a level here. That's what we're retesting. That's what we're touching over here. I want to see what we do at this level. Above here, I'm not really interested because there's no room to the left. We were here yesterday. We could be pulling back. This is a breakout, pulling back. It might be on a higher time frame a breakout and a retest. I don't usually trade them when it's a 1 day, right? All day pulling back and then retesting. What I would be curious to see is if it breaks down here and then retests for the short to close this gap. But we're going to see what happens over here. Qs I'm very interested in because this is a long-term level where it rejected again, and now we're above it. So at this level here, does it continue? Right? Do we break out here and then do we retest the breakout level here? This would be a nice place to put a fib when and if it rejects over here. If it puts in a rejection candle like a kangaroo tail or a double top, this might be just getting back into this range again. Right, so we'll see what happens. SPY is very similar. I'm going to get this out of here and let's look at what the market is doing. Meta, massive move. I don't know if there's news on Meta. Let's just look at the higher time frame here. Well, I had said that I want to see what it does above these levels, but now do you short R6 here if it rejects? Not with such a massive 5-minute candle here, right? The buyers are absolutely in control in this area. I'm not saying it's going to 650, but in this candle right here, the buyers are absolutely in control. And there's a lot of volume on it again. There was a lot of volume on it yesterday as well. What does our vol look like on Meta? 90%, not as much. Microsoft 37, low-ish R vol on relative volume on many of the stocks. Apple at 32, that's very low. So let's see what happens here. Very interesting levels on Qs and SPY. Anything happening in the futures market?
I'm long gold.
On gold, let's look at gold.
Yeah, gold have been going sideways. The gold king is hitting back. Gold have been moving sideways since the 15th for the last 2 days. It's been consolidating. It's not able to sell below the $5,000.
There you go. So that's the range from yesterday to the high of pre-market or overnight over here. And you said you're long?
Yes, I'm long.
Okay, good. Seems to be micro resistance over here. That's 30 minutes. So there might be resistance in this area. There's a 30-minute fair value gap here. That means that sellers were in control during this 30-minute time frame here. We retouched it, but we're retesting it again. Excuse me. So for this long, if I were long here, and not saying where your entry is, it doesn't matter right now, for the strategy to be, or for the long to be disproven, stop would have to be below 5,000, right? It would have to be below this area over here, because right now we just, since this long tail candle here, we're going up, right? But R3 seems to be an area of resistance. But if I go short here, I'd only be looking at the lows. I mean, we are on the 30-minute, we're making higher lows, right, over here. So yeah, difficult to call out who's in control right now.
I thought about it. I thought about it differently, Gills.
Yeah. Go ahead.
From the market theory. So gold have been falling down for the last 3 sessions.
Yeah.
And then sideways. So it just need a pullback till 50, 80 or something. And then after that, we're ready for another sell. I took a partial already when it hit the 50.32. I still have one more contract. I won't keep it I'll keep it very tight on it, because if it wants to go, it needs to go fast, especially everything's buying in the market.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you for sharing. First, let's make this a little bit bigger here. There you go. So that is one big green 5-minute candle here at 9:30. Rejected over here. Be very curious to see what it does above the high of this candle here. Because if it breaks up above here, there's this little wick here, but otherwise, I mean, it could be going to the top of the range. Right, 50-50 area. So yeah, curious to see what it's going to do. Can't wait to be able to put on a position over here on futures soon. So now that the first 5 minutes, almost the second 5-minute has printed, now that we're above a pre-market high and yesterday high, this could be setting up, as long as it doesn't happen too fast, could be setting up for a breakout and retest. Right? The break and retest higher. That's what I will be looking at in SPY and Qs. And on a higher time frame, we go to the 30-minute. Lots of room to the left. The next level, let's take this one right here. Yeah, that could be, 606.35 area. Right before we start hitting resistance again.
Yeah, I noticed that that area around 605.70 or something on my charts is the previous day closed on February 18th.
On the Qs?
Yeah, that was left on my chart, and Yeah. It seems to be a point of interest for this last month plus.
Yeah, pretty
You ever
much.
do that where you just
Where
leave
it is
something
right
on
now.
your chart and then a month later it's like, oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these lines are incredible because market has memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, curious to see what happens in the next little while. No big news event on my calendar for 10 a.m. So I'm not worried about getting into a position. For those that look at cam levels, the Qs are right at R4, which can be an area of resistance, but it can also be support. So if we start buying from here, then I am okay to buy above R4 here for the move to R6. But it seems to be struggling with this area, and rightfully so. This area here, let's put another, see, it was the low over here. We touched it here, right? It's not the strongest of levels, but if I put a horizontal line, we can see where it's touched there. Touched here, right? It was the beginning of the area before it started really selling off. Right? So it's an area of interest. So I want to see it's retesting this area now.
I'm looking at Oklo as one of my tickers of that has a catalyst this morning. And we had a bit of a drop off, but on the 5-minute chart, we've got a higher low printing. And so far on this current candle, it's kind of dancing around a VWAP. I'm looking at the leveraged Oklo, which is OKLL.
Oh.
And so far we got a tweezer bottoms in play in the 5-minute. We'll see how the next few minutes ramps up. We definitely had a drop off in selling in the last candle, so I'm just kind of interested to watch this a bit further and see what happens.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Definitely having trouble making new highs on the Qs and SPY. Let's look at SPY over here with this low R vol, 62 and 65. Low on everything except for Meta and NVIDIA. Very low. What's the
For the NQ, I think it's time for a pullback. It's
on
been
what?
on the MNQ at the triple Qs.
Yeah.
I think it's time to have a pullback. We've been having a very strong move.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, the 604 level. Right, it broke out of here. I want to see, does it come and retest yesterday's high as well as pre-market high? There's two lines here. So now that we're above it, these two lines can be strong support. Can be. I don't know until we get there. But as far as the breakout and retest, for me, it hasn't retested the breakout level yet. So for me, it's not a long. It could be, but you know, for me, it doesn't meet my criteria. What was I going to go look at? It'll come back to me. And the other thing that's slowing me down is a very low participation rate. But it's not a deal breaker. It's just something to pay attention to in my rules.
Yeah, especially maybe because we have the rolling contracts, the contract switches.
Oh yeah.
The futures, the first day after that, I find it sometimes a little bit like weird.
Yeah,
or
it's
very directional.
absolutely the rollover time. What do you mind me asking? What do you use? If I go to, do you use TradingView at all, Tarek?
Yeah, I use TradingView. Yes.
When you're trading gold, what's the ticker that you're trading? Do you trade the actual contract or just the GC? Or
I use MGC.
MGC, but with the just a general contract or the
general contract one.
Okay, because there's a specific monthly contract as well. But I like how TradingView does it, where the rollover is basically automatic in this contract, right? You don't have to worry about changing the ticker.
Yeah, but yesterday I changed the ticker while I was trading the Nasdaq, because I found that there was significantly higher volume on this new contract, on the June contract.
Okay, so you put in, instead of MNQ, you put in the actual.
Yeah, when you start typing MNQ, it starts giving you options.
Yeah, MNQ.
So here you'll find March and June.
There's the June contract right there. Yeah. Okay, so if you go to the rule of thumb, when I was doing it with DOS, is when you see the volume switch from one contract to the other. So you would still trade the March contract and you would look at the volume, but then you would look at the June contract. I don't know why it's no longer showing up. MNQ.
March is the contract expired yesterday or today.
Yeah. What's the June contract and why isn't it showing up? Oh, there they are. MNQ. And then, so I'm just saying that the way that we did it with DOS, because a lot of people switch over before the actual expiry, right? So when the volume flips and we see that more volume is going into the next contract is when you can switch contracts, right? But I like the way that we can do it with just a general MNQ contract here. So you don't
but I like your perspective on it moving forward, especially with changing, because sometimes, like yesterday, I was trading the Nasdaq and I was still trading March contract.
Yeah,
very low on it.
Yeah, volume dies off a few days before the actual expiry of the contract. So I'm going from memory because I haven't traded futures in just around a year. But that's what I used to look at, was the dying off volume in the March contract. And then when you see the June volume matching or exceeding the March contract is when you can switch before expiry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because slippage gets really bad with it too.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah. So we're breaking out. We're, it's slow moving. Possible rejection of this level here on Tesla. We were not there since yesterday, right before the close. I do not like especially on Tesla. That's very, very slow moving. Excuse me. Not seeing much. This is a really nice breakout because it was in pre-market, but just as far as pretty pictures are concerned, right? You want to see these patterns. Well, this is like a level. There's a line, broke out of it, stepped down, retested this exact level, and then poof, took off again to get the highs of this level. So an entry, actually, let's do it on TradingView. That was Amazon on the 5 minute. So this level right here, let's put a level. So this was a level of resistance in pre-market, right? Slow moving back down to retest whatever the other level was. I think it was the close or the level was 212.72. 212.72. So yeah, this was it here. So we broke out. There's a micro pattern right there, but this was what I was just looking at on DOS. So we broke out of above the pre-market high, broke out above it, came back down, retested, wick down, and then took off to the high again. So again, this is just an example of what the breakout and retest looks like. Not for me because it happened in pre-market. For now, once I get into futures, pre-market is going to change considerably because there is a lot of movements that happen during the Asian market, during the London market, and that's what I'm going to be testing out over the next couple months. What's going on gold? We're pulling back. We broke out above the 32. And broke out above. That is a 5 minute time frame. Pulling back. This is a 5 minute fair value gap. Again, I said if I were long here, my stop would be if it. And there's a lot of stops over here. Look at all these wicks, guaranteed. There's a lot of orders sitting right below here. I mean, a very conservative and higher time frame stop would be below the low here. But right now, we're high, pulling back, higher, pulling back, higher, pulling back. But these are big candles. So let's see what happens here. And eventually, especially once I start trading futures, I'm going to be changing my layout over here. Instead of going back and forth, I think I'm just going to set it up so that I've got only TradingView on my screen.
I took a trade in Oklo and I got smacked down in 37 seconds. So my team's done.
What was it again? OKLL?
Yeah, OKLL. If you want, I can share my screen. I'll show you all what I did.
Yeah.
Normally, I don't take a trade this early in the day, and that's probably why.
You should have talked it out with us.
So this was what I was seeing. Let me know when it comes clear on your end. So,
what size monitor do you have? You mind me asking?
I think it's a 33 inch.
33. Nice.
Yeah.
Is it one of those curved monitors?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of changing my setup over here because I am losing a little bit of real estate now that I'm recording my screen and my sessions. So I think a larger screen like that would be beneficial. So anyway, it's clear now.
Oh, great. Yeah, I love it. I got one big one here, then I've got a smaller one off to my left side that I usually have 6 tickers that I look at. So yeah, we had a news event on Oklo, news catalyst that popped up in pre-market. And so we had this spinning top at the open. Then the next 5 minute candle, we had a big drop in volume, relatively same size of the candle body, but a way bigger drop in volume. And then we had another doji print right at VWAP, kind of closing above it. And we had sort of higher lows. And right here, we kind of had a double bottom, almost like tweezer bottom. So but I got in a little bit later. I waited for a second or two after this thing closed. It popped up, and I probably shouldn't have pressed the buy button. I did, and I got filled in way more. Instead of around 10:43, I got filled at 10:55. And then I set my stop to, I had to readjust my stop. Normally it was going to be right here at around 10:30, and I had to adjust it to about 10:40 because I jumped in later and I got filled higher. And then when my stop got triggered, it actually got triggered around 10:36. So there was some slippage. And so yeah, that was my 37-second trading day today, because that's it. I took one loss. I'm done.
Do you mind me asking, those triangles, those are just on that candle? It doesn't show exactly the it's like Trading View, right? Where it doesn't show you the exact buy and sell.
Yeah. So my exact buy.
And not that I'm asking what it was, Evo, it's just, I'm just clarifying that it shows it on the candle itself, not necessarily at, like your sell wasn't right at 10 above 1060.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Okay.
yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't show you the exact precise point, but this is exactly where I bought. Like a second or two after this candle closed, boom, it shot up. I got in.
That should be the green candle right there, just for people that are learning, right? That's the entry candle was right there. Right? Should be the green triangle, should be right above the wick of that candle, that doji right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the red triangle should be closer to, right, where you got out.
Yeah, I got out right about here, 10:36. It filled me between 10:40 and 10:36. So there's a little bit of slippage of almost about a third of a point. So if you look at the bid and ask, there's a little bit of discrepancy here sometimes. So
yeah, well, the slippage is something we all have to deal with, unfortunately. And when it's hopefully it doesn't become like a full R, right? Hopefully it's only 1.2, 1.1 R. The problem with some slippage is that sometimes you can double your loss, right? You're aiming for, let's say, $100 risk, but because of slippage and other factors, you can end up with a 1.9 R. Well, that's two trades, right? That's two losing trades in one. So that's why it's something I always look at the bid-ask spread. It's always on my screen. And if it's something like a Meta, if I put Meta over here, the bid-ask spread is 30 cents right now, 32 cents, and it can go during earnings. It can be $2, $3, $4, right? So that's where slippage becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So
a little slippage there, and it was closing at VWAP, and it was holding this fib level of 23.6 and 38.2. So I normally don't trade this early nowadays. I like to wait a little bit longer, and it is what it is. But the best thing for me to do is just stop for the day, and just preserve the capital and move on. So
yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Still waiting for me. I'm still waiting to see what happens with the Qs and SPY. Now that it's above here, it hasn't retested the level. If it comes down or retest, I want to see a lot of buying coming in. So that's what I'm patiently waiting for. We're seeing a little bit of a retest on Meta here. Other than that, very slow moving on Tesla. It's just in a range of pre-market high and yesterday high. But this is a good sign that it's above PDC and pre-market high. it could slowly make its way higher, but for me, it's not a breakout and retest, because for a breakout to happen, it needs to be a lot of buying, needs to be like a bullish candle, you know, like what we were looking at on Amazon here, right? Once it broke out of this level here, which I believe was yesterday high, yeah, once it broke out of that level, I want to see a bullish candle, and that's what we saw. It pulled back slowly, came and saw some buying over here, and then, you know, you aim for the high a day. Could be going higher, but you have to be able to make, at least in my book, you have to be able to make 3R in that range. So yeah, Tarek had to cut out. I don't know if he's there still. See you later, Tarek. I don't know if anybody else is looking at anything else. I wanted to share too, and I should give a little bit of time for anybody to say something. If you do, please don't hesitate to interrupt me, because I will talk for, I'm here for another 29 minutes. I'll probably talk for 28. But I said I wanted to share something, and now I've lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. Interesting movement on Meta. Right, there's a lot of people that'll short if it breaks the low here again. Be curious to see what the fibs are on this. Go to Meta. 5-minute time frame. Just from the low to the high here. So let's just look at from the low of the first candle here. See how it's hugging the 50% here? Right, so this is the breakout coming down into this zone, right, of the 50% pullback. When you get a very big candle like this, like a big breakout candle like this, right, you set a fib from the low, from where we broke out to the high over here, and now it's retesting that 50% zone. So we could see a lot of buying here, right? That's basically what I've been doing with a break and retest. I do it more with levels, but it works well, often works well with fibs. So be curious to see if there's buying coming in here. We might come and test the 61.8. Actually, 61.8 is at 631.07 level there. 631. There you go. Be curious to see what it does at that level. And we're starting to pull back on Qs and SPY. Pullbacks are great. I just don't like to see a massive pullback, a massive red candle here, because my idea is to go long. I don't want to go long after a massive red candle. $631.15. Let's put Meta on the book here. So now we're below on the ask. We just touched it. Going below the 61.8 retracement. We could be making all our way to R4 for the pullback. Right, we could be making our way here. I said I would share the AMD trade from yesterday. All right, the break and retest. Let's go back to the 5-minute and then let's go replay. This level over here. So that was pre-market high yesterday. Broke out. That's what I want to see in the breakout. I want to see a big green candle. Not quite sure why I said I wasn't taking this yesterday. But it came and retested the R3 level, which was the breakout area here. And then if we go bar by bar, entry, I think, was on the 2-minute. That's where I put this. Yeah, right after on the 2-minute here, we have a bullish candle. So on the break of this high with a stop below the wick. Let's move back to the 5-minute. So with that break and retest, it took a while, but it hit it a while, as in an hour and 15. Oh, sorry, 11:15. Entry was at 9:45. So whatever that is, an hour and a half to reach the 3R level. So this breakout and retest here worked very well yesterday. Full disclosure, I did not take it, but I shared what it was I was looking at. So hopefully there are some people that took it. So this is an interesting level on Meta here. There's no signal to buy it. Right, and if it pulls back, it could pull back all the way down here. Because, I mean, this was a very rapid move. There are still buyers possibly around a pre-market high and PDC. So it could pull all the way back down here before the next move up. Seem to be making a bit of a triangle here on Google. Google 50% R-vol. A bit of a triangle. We'll see what happens if we break either way. And gold trade we were talking about earlier. Not something I was involved in, but Tarek was saying that he was long. Right, we were saying that this over here can be a strong level of resistance. I put these on here because they often work. So R3 here was a level of resistance. I said that conservative stop would be all the way down here. However, if I was long over here, especially after this massive red candle here, I probably would have been stopped out before, unless it's a higher time frame trade. Yeah, seems to have found buyers at the central pivot range. Personally, from R3 over here, with this big drop over here, I wouldn't be surprised if it makes it all the way down to S3. So especially the fact that it's in a lower range, as in the 2-day relationship, it's lower than it was the previous day. The past 2 days have been lower. So that's what that means. We had a big dip down here. Let's see, is there a lot of buying coming into Meta? I will put Meta on my screen. Low volume on the options market. NVIDIA just gave me an alert. It said I want to see what it does at yesterday's low. It's not there yet, but the alert was just to start paying attention. I'll set an alert on DOS below. I'd like to see, for me, it would have to come all the way down here. I don't see a setup doing anything over here. It would have to come down and test yesterday's low for a possible buy. So I've got another alert set on my DOS platform. Very interesting formation here on Meta. This had it close near the top here would have been a signal for the break and retest. But I'm curious to see what it does above 631.07. It might give a signal for a buy. Tesla is just stepping higher. Microsoft is definitely retesting this area again. This is another one that could be interesting. It broke out. It's retesting this level here. And for me, I have to see buying coming in. Same thing with Meta. I might be interested if it shows that buyers are stepping in. And right now, they're not. Same thing with Microsoft. It might just hiss a PDC and find buyers and continue on. Especially that the Qs and SPY are approaching the same level of breakout here. It's a very interesting level on Qs here. Now that it's retested this level over here, this is where I zoom in. Right? And I want to see some buying. Let's make this a little bit bigger. It hasn't tested to the penny, but now it's pretty close. We're seeing some selling here. We're seeing a rejection of this level here, but I want to see some buying. Like a good big bullish candle. And I do nothing until I see that big bullish candle. And I'm looking at it on my trading view screen. Apple seems to be retesting pre-market high. Google seems to be breaking down out of that triangle, or it might just be testing that level. Also a pre-market high. Wow, we dipped all the way down there on Qs. Yeah, now that it's closing below pre-market high and yesterday's high, I'm not as confident in breakout and retest. I would have to see a lot of buying coming in. Right? Same thing happened in Meta. Could be retesting the levels. What else were we looking at? Microsoft broke out. It's no longer retesting, right? It's breaking down. So for me, that's no trade unless it comes down below 398 and puts in kangaroo tail for the possible reversal long. SPY seems to be on the 5 minute. SPY. Yeah, it's getting down to low of day. All right, SPY. Let's put SPY up here. Low of day is 671.91. So we're pennies away from it. There you go. So new low of day. A lot of buying coming in now. Putting in that long tail wick. On Qs and SPY. 672.60. $76. That is a very bullish candle. Same candle on SPY. $604.76. Want to see what it does above 74.75. Are the buyers actually stepping in? Similar candle on Apple here. Microsoft. A lot of orders higher. So another few minutes here, and I'm going to cut out very what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say difficult, but very sideways market. I know it's going up, but it just gets to a certain point. Like it's not trending, and nothing is trending anywhere. And that's just the way it's been recently. And can't control that. Curious to see what Qs do above 75, which is R4, by the way. That's what I'm looking at on TradingView. Right, seems to be rejecting this area over here. I pulled back, retested, pulled back, started seeing some buying over here. This is the 1 minute time frame. Put in this long tail, but then now we're just at R4 again. So we've gone up above 75. A lot of orders above 605. 605, 75 seems to be holding.
Yeah, good way for me to not over trade feel or revenge trade is I get knocked down. I'm just working on my my sort of notes and recap journaling.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Do you turn off the screens altogether?
No, I still have it on,
Okay.
but
Well,
just so I can insert like a screenshot, and I'm doing a few other things, but
yeah, and screen time, right? Just seeing what the market is doing. That's something that I tell people all the time. I mean, it takes a long time to be able to be looking at this stuff and try to anticipate, not necessarily anticipate what's going to happen, but just read what the chart is telling you. Right? For me, that it's like hundreds, if not thousands of hours of looking at these charts. Now, what is a really good idea is just to look at them and not do anything. And that's what a lot of people have a hard time with.
yeah, exactly. If I was emotionally charged, I would turn as soon as I took that loss, I probably would turn the computer off within a minute or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
If I felt myself emotionally charged, but I get self-control. I'm not going to jump back in.
Yeah. Good.
Been there, done it. How about you?
Oh, I've been there, done that. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is this is not what I used to be. You know, I could have taken 10 trades by now. And now it's, you know, I haven't taken one since last Thursday, I think. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's okay. I've given a lot of money to the market, and it's just often because of overtrading, FOMO. If I don't get my setup, I just don't take it. Right. It makes for long days, and it makes for not really long days, because I don't sit and stare at these until the market closes at 4 p.m. For me, it's honestly 9:30 to 10:30, 11. This week it's 10:30 for sure, because my kids are home. But yeah, you have to find other stuff to do, right? You've got a job, right? And you work from home. Right.
Yeah.
So you've got work to do. I also have work to do. There's stuff that I'm doing, you know, other than just, so I keep it there. I put alerts on, and yeah, if an alert goes off, I'll look at it. But it was by far the hardest thing I had to learn, Evo, is to take less trades.
Yeah, you have to. I feel like I've been burning the FOMO out of me, and in order to be more patient, and so it's probably the hardest skill to, I think, learn as a trader, is to just get that out of you.
Yeah,
and not fear. I think it's probably the biggest skill.
and you can't teach it. No, I mean, it's not, as a teacher, I can't teach that part of trading. It's something you have to live, and you have to do by yourself. And at the beginning, you know, it's like, oh, why aren't you taking this? It looks almost like you're set up. It's like, well, because it's not right for me. But I think it's something that every trader needs to learn on their own. They need to have skin in the game, and it's not something that can be learned through sim. Sim is great to learn the setups and to learn how the platform works, but the psychology does nothing in sim, right? Because you have no skin in the game.
Yeah.
Once you have skin in the game and you start seeing money coming in, then, you know, fear and greed step in, and that is the hardest part. That's the psychology that is the hardest part of trading, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you have to become somewhat emotionally detached and dissociated from the money, but you still got to protect your account because that's what makes you stay in the game. So it's an interesting mindset to become a trader.
Yeah, it's different from a lot of things that personally that I've done before in my life. It's very, very different. You have to be okay to be wrong, right? And that's as in my personality, I don't like being wrong. So that was difficult for me, right? But you have to be okay to be wrong. I'm wrong, even if I'm wrong 50% of the time or 60% of the time, I can still make money. Right? You have to be okay with that. You have to be okay to be wrong.
Yeah.
Right? If my setup appears and I take it and I'm wrong, it's okay because of the term is escaping me right now, but your winners are bigger than your losers.
True, yeah.
Right? So even at 50%, 40% win rate, when you're 3-1, you can still be incredibly profitable, but you have to be okay to take those losses.
And you got to keep them small. So
yeah, and that's why I teach fixed risk, right? Figure out what your risk is, whether you're starting out at $10 or $50 or $100. Figure that out, and then once you enter a trade, just put in your head that $100 is what I paid to get in this opportunity to make 300. Right? That's what it is. I paid $100 for the possibility to make 300. And at the end of the day, there's two possibilities, especially when you're learning. I lost 100 or I made 300 or more. Right? When the way that I do it, I was explaining yesterday, if the move happens fast, and fast depends on the trader, but if the move happens fast, I'll take 80% off. And then I'll let the 20% run, right? So it can be more than 3R, and especially when I trade completely differently when I'm trading options, and I'm going to be trading differently when I trade futures because they're leveraged products. You can get the 3R in seconds. Well, seconds might be a bit exaggerated, but you can get there very, very quickly because I'm not necessarily getting into scalp. But yeah, that's the way that I do it now. And now that I'm on with in Avi's room, and I actually have people trading with me, sometimes I'll be going, should I be getting into something? I mean, people want to see, they want to see some action. They want to see, people getting into trades. However, I don't have to get into positions. That's why I like showing on TradingView. Even I could show this, the QQQs, right? Is it doing a break and retest them? Possibly. And then, well, what can we do? We can show it. What if?
Well, I appreciate your approach and all your wisdom. And I think that's a great approach to just be calm and to wait for your setup. And when you see something, then talk about it and say, oh, I think this is setting up for my entry here. And display it, get in and do it, but there's no pressure to produce. That's better to wait.
If you don't mind me saying one last thing, just for my students know, but and I've said it before, but what makes it a little bit different for me is that I don't have to trade. I don't have to put on a position to be able to make my monthly payments. And that is super important for people learning how to trade. Because if you are trying to get money out of the market so that you can make payments on your car payments, mortgage, or whatever, then it becomes incredibly difficult. You'll get into positions earlier than you should, or you'll overtrade. Then people get desperate, and that's where things differ for me. I enjoy teaching this stuff. I would be able to do everything on paper trading and just explain my mindset and everything, because I don't have to take money out of the markets, if that makes sense. And I think it makes sense to you, Evo, because you've got a job, right? You've got another source of income.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. You know, a friend of mine who is a day trader who used to trade on the Pacific Stock Exchange in San Francisco when there was one, and he was sort of an early mentor for me. He had told me, he said, Evo, yeah, when you trade and you have a stable source of income, that's one thing. But he said, when you just trade for a living and that's it, which is what he does, and he has been doing for 25 years now, he says the psychology completely changes completely. And so that I think that resonates with what you just mentioned.
Yeah, there's that breakout area I was just looking at here on SPY and Qs. So interesting levels. And yeah, thanks for sharing, Evo. I think it absolutely helps to the other people in the room here or people that watch this on YouTube. My students for sure appreciate the back and forth and all the information that we're sharing here. So and it definitely makes it interesting for me to be able to share and to talk to people. Hopefully other people jump in. I know that there's people that are actually, you know, looking at their charts and don't want to be distracted by different conversations, and I get that. But no, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. And with that, 10:36, so I'm going to walk away.
Thank you so much, Joe. See you tomorrow or Thursday. I think I got the day off tomorrow, so I'll see you then.
Okay, fantastic. All right. See you later, everyone. Take care. Thanks, guys.